OTP completion, purchase OTP completion, loan disbursement date, CPF refund. Everybody, every agent, but ours is different because we do map out the sale.
Welcome to Podcast
Smart Property Opportunity Talk. This is David.
I'm Audrey.
Alright, today we are going to our HDB Exit Blueprint episode 4. And this time around, we are going to discuss about timeline risk.
Yes.
The hidden cost that kills HDB sellers. Alright, so most people think that, their biggest risk is pricing when you are selling a HDB. Because if you don't get the right price, you cannot go for your next move. But in fact, it's not. The biggest risk is really timeline miscalculation.
Yes, that's very, very dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have seen sellers making good profit on paper, sell at a good price, and yet lose sleep for 3 months. Why? Okay, because they didn't plan the transition properly. And what happened is, because once you don't plan your transition properly, you might be homeless for a few months.
Correct.
Yeah, and today we are talking about the silent cost most people ignore, timeline risk.
So if you are thinking of selling your HDB in the next 6 to 12 months, this episode might interest you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so today, selling is often known as a transition, not a deal. Why we say it? Because when you sell a HDB, right, you are not just signing the OTP, you are triggering a few things.
A lot of things, actually. Yeah.
Number one, CPF refund,
Correct.
loan redemption, buyer's loan timeline, legal completion,
Your key collection,
Your
and
next
your next purchase.
deadline.
Yes.
Okay, and one wrong overlap, right, can stress multiples.
Yeah, you get very, very stressed out over it.
Over your part, if you miscalculate, the buyers will be jumping, you will be jumping, and then your next seller will be jumping as well.
Yes.
Okay,
This
so
is a domino effect.
yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so property is simple, timeline coordination is not. Yeah, that's why under our clear framework, the reinforce comes in, and that's where we actually look into your timeline very, very clearly.
Yes.
Okay, so we go into a few common timeline mistakes. Number one, which we are really looking at, is selling first without mapping purchase.
You want to sell, but you don't even know where you want to buy.
Yes.
You know.
So most seller will think that, after I sell, right, then I decide where I want to buy. I don't even have a time, but I'm sure I can definitely find a place.
Yeah.
Okay, what if you cannot? And as the timeline gets tighter, you'll be forced to make a very hasty decision. If buyers want early completion, or if buyers suddenly withdraw on the extension,
Correct.
and that's where your stress actually comes. Urgency will always reduce negotiation power, and that's what we don't want most HDB sellers to face when they're buying their next property.
And then, of course, misunderstanding a CPF refund timing.
Yes. Okay, CPF refund comes back only after completion, and most of the time within 2 weeks after completion.
Yeah.
Okay, not upon deal completion. Yeah, so if your purchase timeline, actually, your purchase down payment, I would say the 5%, 5%, no, the 15% actually depends on
your
CPF, right? Your timeline must be aligned very, very properly.
Correct.
Yeah, and most sellers assume that cash is available earlier, but in fact it's not.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then, of course, this is something really interesting.
yes,
The 3 months extension.
yes, and that's personally a problem we faced before last time. Okay, HDB does allow extension, but then it falls on the HDB buyer
Yes.
whether they allow or whether they go back on their words.
Yes, because ultimately, upon completion, they are the legal owners of
Yes.
the house.
So just a very good example, we were selling a HDB, I think 6 years back.
Yep.
Okay, selling a HDB where the sellers need to transit smoothly into their
The
HDB.
next house.
Okay, upon getting the right buyer, the buyer actually promised us one thing: 3 months extension, free of charge, everything okay. However, upon signing the option to purchase, exercise the option to purchase, during submission, the buyer refused to click on the extension granted. Yeah.
Alright.
And what they say to us was this: we never grant extension. Yeah. And it's really their words for our words. Even with the form signed, everything, it is useless because they will say, I never grant. Okay, so what happened was, seller went into a panic mode. Okay, but because they have a timeline planned nicely, okay, we delay the completion and move in and let them go into the next one properly. Okay, so this is something that is not guaranteed. So just be very, very careful on this. So last but not least,
estimating the loan approval timing.
Yes. Okay, and in recent cases also, because of the overwhelming loan requests.
Yes.
Okay.
Banks.
Yes, the bank actually took close to 3 weeks to approve the loan. Okay, so for a buyer who is buying a private property, private property, the exercise time is always 2 weeks. And we did ask for 3 weeks, but then it was still very tight. And we have to push the banker really hard to get our loan approval. Okay, so this will happen especially in seasons.
Yes.
So how do we actually engineer a safe timeline?
Before listing any HDB, right? These are the
we break it down into 4 layers. Number one is really exit completion window. The second layer is purchase eligibility and financing.
Yes.
Third one is CPF flow timing. But your buffer period cannot be too long because the buyer will not want to wait. Okay,
correct.
But you must have a buffer
It
period.
has to be a reasonable buffer period.
Yes. Okay, so what we literally do is we build a timeline chart. Yes, you could be seeing a lot of timeline chart from everybody, every agent, but ours is different because we do map out the sales OTP completion, purchase OTP completion, loan disbursement date, CPF refund, renovation start, and this is where you see it visually, and the clarity actually helps. Yes, because it replaces your anxiety.
So selling is really not about speed, about coordination.
Yes. So just remember, under water concept, we protect long-term wealth, and that includes protecting mental bandwidth. Agent not easy, I got to protect mental bandwidth. Okay, because if you ask me, stress builds clarity, and clarity protects decision. So when you're not stressed, you have clarity, and with clarity, you got to make very sound decision.
Let's talk about also who needs the extra caution.
You will need a tighter timeline planning if you are upgrading to a private.
Yeah, and you have actually used up a large portion of your CPF.
Okay, on the other hand, you might need bridging, and you are dependent on sales proceeds.
Yes.
So if you're buying new launch with progressive payment, this is also very important. Okay, so timeline complexity increase, especially when tier changes.
Yes.
Okay, and this is why
the structure will matter more
when you're upgrading. Okay, so number one is, importantly, is you must understand David and Audrey don't just negotiate closing.
We coordinate the transitions.
Because a profitable sale comes with a clear timeline. Under clear and lags, right, price is one part, positioning is everything.
And positioning includes the timeline safety.
Yes. So if you are planning to sell in the next 1 year, message us, go through a no obligation discussion non-obligatory discussion on the clear framework, and we will actually map out your HDB selling and buying timeline for you. No obligation, just structure, because clarity before action, reduce regret after action. Wow, this one cheap. Okay, by the way, this is David.
This is Audrey.
And this is the HDB Exit Blueprint, episode 4. Okay, stay tuned for our next one, because the next episode, our final episode, we'll be discussing who should not sell their HDB. See you.
Okay, see you. Bye.